Hello everybody, it is me, Super Steve Atomic again, or Guest25 is my new name that I'm going under. So, I have something to say, and this is very important. I want you all to listen to this. This is a motivational speech that I created like a couple of hours ago. So, here it goes. Have you ever heard of what life is like for some people? Well, it may not be the same as what you may think. For example, somebody might be having a worse day than you. Now, I have a lot to say for this, and I will say it all. As a man, as a person who went through it all, I have had one thing that somebody once taught me, is that you shouldn't give up whenever you're about to make it big. That is the main rule that I've learned, and I will literally say this multiple times. Throughout life, things might throw you down, knock you to the floor, or even punch you in the gut. But one thing you should always keep in mind is that you should never give up. Look at all the movie actors that you see these days. They didn't make it up to the top without any repercussions or any problems. They made it up because they won big. They never gave up. That is usually what I would say. Now, this might sound like a generic motivational speech, but this isn't. It's actually going to be very interesting later in the video. One thing that I've once learned, and one character from a game that I remember, he once said, they said, it was never about luck. It's about making your way to the top, no matter how hard it gets. By the way, that quote is from Need for Speed Payback. From Nathan, I forgot his name. But I know his name is Tyler Morgan. Okay, there we go. Next was another quote from another character that once told me this. No matter what they say or whatever people say about you, it doesn't care. It doesn't matter. Whatever God says is how your life is going to be. And your life is dependent on how you want it to be. Happiness is something that you should always have in mind. Solid state mind. That is going to be the words that I will say throughout this speech, and it will be as important as possible. A lot of people may not agree with me, and I will just say, what are you even doing with your life if you don't understand or what your opinions are about me? I don't care about your opinions. It's about how I literally believe in my life and how it's going at the moment. And I've ran through and by the way, I am a furry, and I have this problem with anti-furs. They disrespect me, make fun of me, and thinking that they're all feeling good after making fun of me. But of course, I stand back up and I tell them one thing that they all despise most is the truth. Is that the reason why, and I would say, literally, this is a quote from me. Oh, so you think you're funny for bullying a furry, even though that your life, that you might have a happy life making fun of people. But there's a thing that is called reputation, and it should not be. You might have friends now, but in reality, they might be furries themselves and may not like you after a while. And this is a pretty common thing, and don't try to deny this, because denial is also another thing you should never ever try in your life, because it can make you a very sad person later in the future. And for you all, I'm just going to say this right here. Never give up. Never give up on your life. Because whatever you try, no matter what knocks you down, just get back up. Take, for example, take for example gambling, except without the bull crap and the house always wins, because in reality, you're the house and you win. Keep that in mind. Make sure it's solid. Don't believe in what people say, because they may not be telling the truth. In life, you might find yourself alone, but always keep in mind, somebody might be having the same problem as you. If you ever get bullied, here's my advice to you. You might be being bullied, but I would recommend making friends. And making friends is always a bully's worst nightmare. You make friends, and make friends with the people that he bullied. Once you have enough of a big enough group, and then show him what it's like to be a bully by just being a big group of people. And never listen to what he says. Never talk to him. Don't ever talk to him. Don't say anything. Don't say hi. Don't do anything. That will make him know that it'll make him realize what it's like to be alone. And even if he has friends and he's still all high and mighty, just knock him down with a one-liner. Just come up with a random one-liner that makes sense to you, but not to anybody else. That's my main. Now, I know that all you people out there may not be able to get to that point, but don't give up. That is my main word, and I will say this because I have a solid state mind. So essentially, solid state mind for me is the reason why I'm pointing at the top of my head, my face, and then down at my chin means solid state mind, which is basically my belief in the solid is your brain. Essentially, is where all your knowledge and all your life and your memories of your life goes to. So the state is basically your facial structure, your bodily structure, and the way it's built defines your character. Sort of like how video games define characters in their sort of facial expressions and their facial design and other types of designs. My chin is the final one, which is mind. So solid state mind. So mind, the chin is essentially means that is, to me, is what I believe is what basically is what puts this all together. It's what it all connects together. So if this doesn't make sense to you, use another version of this solid state mind for any part of your body as an example. For example, you could do it backwards and say solid state mind, but I prefer to go with this one because it makes sense to me. Now, it may be different for all you out there, and I get it. There might be different wordings and how they will say it. But look at all this, look at all the years that we've been through lives that we had to go through, especially since we've also had to go through a lot of horrible things in our lives. One thing that one character once taught me in a game is that never give up and just keep knocking them down. And one thing is that and I also learned from another one is from I think a TV show or something, was a character who once said, as human beings, we don't roll over and die. We gotta fight. That you should keep in mind. As human beings, we are all different in our own way, and we gotta fight for what's right. And in life, you might find some people that might agree with you. For example, with people with muscular dystrophy like me and autism, we have to live through a life where we're being forced to be thrown into homes once we become 18. That's because they believe that we are a waste of time to them, and they won't pay us for anything. Well, I'm going to say, screw that, because I believe that everybody has the right to live their way and have the right to live their own lives. Look at all our ancestors who fought in those wars. They've always learned one thing in the military: war never changes. But for our bodies, it's the same. It's the same as that word. War never changes. It's because the way our bodies adapt. Even though even though history might change, weapons might change, and the way people kill each other changes. It's basically, to me, is that one thing you should always keep in mind is that if you're ever feeling like you're down or depressed, be happy. Don't ever give up. Let me tell you, I had friends in decide to that decide to betray me and make stupid choices. Those people, I wished that they rotted in hell. Excuse me, excuse what I say, but still, those and I remember my one friend. I will mention his name here, Starblazer. He was a best friend of mine. We were both furry. We were friends that were furries. That at one point he decided to block me for no reason. I found out that he called me annoying, and I gave him this line, that entire server this line. If you ever disrespect somebody, or think it's funny to disrespect somebody or call them annoying, but in reality, it's you that are annoying. Only to you. Because if you insult somebody because you say that they think they're annoying, then learn about autism, my friend. Then sleep on that. Just sleep on that. So then that server banned me after I said that, and I got harassed, verbally harassed, by Starblazer's brother, Kitsune, Silver the Kitsune, or his girlfriend. His girlfriend told me that to never ever effing threaten my boyfriend ever again. And I told her as it is. If you think that you're going to harass me because I said the truth, then you're a pretty sorry person and that you should sleep on it. Sleep on that. Keep that in mind for a lot of the times. And then Silver said something that will be very important in this one. He told me that in a DM, he told me that you think everybody's your friend when in reality no one's not, and that you make friends and that you lose them. I don't know what's between you and Starblazer, but to be honest, you should never ever talk to me or my brother again. And that you're not special in any way. And to be honest, you're just an annoying piece of crap. Sleep on that. I don't know what he was talking about, because I literally would say, if I ever met him in real life, if I ever met him, I would tell him, "Oh, you think harassing somebody will get what you want, but in reality, it's not going to give you what you want." And that's because you live a pretty sad life thinking that online dating is a good idea, and you think dating somebody who will harass another person, and you harassing me for being a straight person. Like, I'm straight and he harassed me. So, to be honest, I could just really just throw him under the bus and tell about what really, really fucked up shit he's done. Now, excuse my French, but still. All the stuff that he's done on his server were nasty. I mean it. Grooming minors. His server, I am not kidding, his server was literally doing that. And I went Discord to literally ban him, because what he's doing is illegal. And I am not witch hunting, by the way. I'm just stating it as a fact. I have learned this, and I have been exposed to this when I started Discord. I was very young, and I was exposed to that stuff. and I was exposed to what they were really doing on there. Now, this motivational speech will not be about them any longer because I will quit talking about them and talk about what I was getting back to. Now, let me get back to what I was talking about. Take the example for what Starblazer's brother and Starblazer did to me as an example. It's because they think that they live the high life, that they live on a throne. And they also cosplay their characters as if they were royals. This was automatically a red flag for me. I shouldn't have friended Starblazer, and I shouldn't have met him at all. Take people that are all high and mighty, who think that they're strong and think that they're powerful in every way possible. In reality, they're just a bunch of kittens. Kittens who are weak and brittle and very, very thin. They just have this alter ego that they have. Now, as a furry myself, this is not really bad, but if you have ego issues, that an inflated ego that makes you think that I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I can do whatever I want, I can say whatever I want, I won't get in trouble. Well, here's the thing. Keep this in mind. If you ever met somebody who who thinks highly of themselves and not anybody else, never ever try to interact with a narcissist. This is something that has ruined my life considerably. When I was young, I was chased around my house 24/7 by an abusive father a long time ago. My mom divorced him and we moved away. We visited one person, my other dad, and then my mom came back to the US after that. After all that, history sort of was fine until I realized that life may not be for me, and I used to believe that. And I have been ridiculed, made fun of, and disrespected by my own siblings to the point where I just ignore whatever they say. And getting called names is not a fun thing to be called. Being disrespected is not fun. But this entire motivational speech will not be anything about that. Now, back to what I was saying. You might live life thinking that you may not be able to win. And I believed that as well. But for a person with muscular dystrophy, I've learned how to cope with my condition. I have fought my way to survive. I have fought to make sure that I made it alive and made it to this day. I've graduated high school with a diploma, with a standard high school diploma. I believed that I would never ever leave the school and be able to graduate. But then I learned something. Some people told me that I may be tired or lazy, but it's not true. I could be active if I want to be. Now, this may not sound right to some of you people out there, but one thing I will say: live your life to the fullest and never give up. Never give up on your life. And for all the people who wanted to become YouTubers, they didn't become famous overnight. They've worked their lives to become that man of the mirror, or your favorite Irishman, Jacksepticeye, or Markiplier, or your favorite YouTubers that you've all loved and that you all look up to. These people never made it up in the beginning. It didn't matter what their names were back then, or what their channel was called. It's because they had the time and they had the patience to do what they wanted. And once they got to that point where they became famous, that, my friend, is what I like to call a jackpot. Take Hikari from Jujutsu Kaisen, for example. His domain expansion is essentially your life. You might hit a jackpot, but then sometimes you might not get it. And a lot of people would give up by the time they were almost about to hit a jackpot. And Thinking of your life as a deck of cards is another way. You might be up against the house in a final desperation card game. But here's one thing you should always make sure. It doesn't matter what hand you were given or whatever cards you were thrown onto the table, or if your opponent is cheating. It doesn't matter. What you do in your life is what you want. For example, if say you have a perfect hand of cards, because you might have a bad hand, but keep in mind that bad hand can save you in certain situations. Let's just say you can win against the house, because the house doesn't always win. Take Robert House from Fallout. He's a prime example of this. He's protected New Vegas and thinks that he will win if you give him the platinum chip. Depending on who you choose to be able to work with, this can be different. So say you picked Yes Man, and Yes Man wants you to kill him. That means that the house lost, and the house came crumbling down. That indicates that the house never always wins, because it's a harsh reality out there, and that life can sometimes throw you some twists and turns. But always keep this in mind. Be the better you. Don't give a crap of what people say about you. Be a better you. Do yourself a favor and pat yourself on the back. You've made it far, and you're not going to give up now. Spread this video to your friends and family, and show this to all your friends. Because for all you out there who think their lives are all horrible and bad, but one thing I shall all tell you guys is that to never give up. Make yourself happy. Be the better you. Never give up. Live your life, and it's never about luck. Keep that in mind. Put a pin in it if you have to, or write it down. Be better. Be stronger. Be more smarter. Think about what you do in your life that makes you happy. The pursuit of happiness is a line that is used a lot in video games and movies. And for example, Liberty Prime would say this. It's because the pursuit of happiness is a bumpy road. But once you find what you want, then your happiness will be right there waiting for you at the end of the tunnel. Think of your life as a highway. A long stretch of highway with some bumps and some roadblocks. Just go around the roadblocks and kick those rocks over if they're in the way. And there may be a boulder that you might have to push up a hill that may not go to the top. But I would push it, no matter how hard I would push it, no matter if my body deteriorates just to do this, because I know that there's happiness and a fortune waiting for me at the top. Your goal is what you want. Always reach your goals, and always follow your dreams. This word I once said, follow your dreams. You may hear it a lot in books and media, but it's true. Follow your dreams, and it will take you far. And think of yourself as the better you and the better way you want to live. Make sure that your life is not all about the new deck of cards or a new Pokemon card or something, or a new Fortnite card. It's because, or it's like Skibbity Toilet or something like that, or Phantom Tax. It doesn't matter what you believe. it does matter of what your beliefs are, but what you believe in can sometimes backfire. But all I have to say here is to follow your dreams, make yourself happy, never give up. Never giving up is the key to happiness, no matter what they say. Push them. If you have a big wall in your way, push it down. A door in your way, kick it down. Chained up door, kick that down. Or pull out a shotgun and blow off the door hinges. It doesn't matter. And for the people that are in the military who fought in those wars, that was essentially the thing that they've learned to become famous from. The people from World War II are an example of this. Soldiers that have fought in World War II always have one thing in common. They wanted to win big. And they did. Even though some might have had to be, there might have been sacrifices along the way, but they've made it to their goal to end the war and to be happy. God has not placed us on this earth to be weaklings. We were built to survive. And for the people who believe that global warming is the problem, then good for you. Because we need our world to be saved. And I've always learned, when I created the guest world from my brain, there's always one thing that I will mention. Always be happy for what you have. And for all your best friends out there, give them a gift. A present. It doesn't matter what size it is, or no matter how expensive it is. It's the thought that counts. It's what my mom once told me. Is that whatever is in that present doesn't matter of what it looks like or if it's garbage or not. It's the thought that counts. And it's the thought that counts is what leads to what your goal is. Just give them a present, a gift card, something random, or something you built from your bare hands. Something with hard workmanship and stuff you worked hard on. Just give it to them as a gift. Just tell them it's just a gift. And this is where you should always be thankful for what you get. You always think that Thanksgiving is a year or a holiday of thankfulness. This is true. Keep this in mind. Do not ever forget this. And Christmas is the most magical holiday of the year. Keep that in mind too. The only reason why Christmas is fun is because you believe in that it's fun. And that, my friends, that is how Christmas is. You should always be happy for what you get and be thankful for the gifts. And if your family or relatives gives you any gifts that may not be good, it's the thought that counts. Keep this in mind. And for all the children who think that they can get the most expensive toy or something for Christmas, they may not get that gift. But here's the thing. But what they get is as a improvise, it's the thought that counts, is what my mom would say. The thought that counts is what makes it so good. Christmas is not all about gifts and toys. It's about the happiness you make along the way. And your life is where all the friends you make along the way. And they will literally help you. And no matter what problem you're in, even if you become old, it doesn't matter. They will help you along the way. They would even pick you up if you fell over. You pick yourself up. Or your friends might pick you up if you fell over. Never give up on your life. Be happy. Never be bored, depressed, or anything. You might have disabilities that may not be the same way as others. But it's the way that you treat yourself. You might say, oh, I can't do this. Well, you may not be able to, but you can. Put a pin in that and sleep on that. That's because you're no weakling. No weakling, and you're no fool. You should be happy for how you have been treated your entire life and be glad that you exist. You may not be, people may disrespect you, or you might get treated badly by your parents. But always keep this in mind. Just say that you're grateful for the way you live. And that you're grateful that you exist. Your life is what you get to live your life. And as Mozart once said, just live a little. Live a little. You want to go to the haunted house you wanted to go to for a long time. Just live a little and go there. Don't be scared. Just watch out for falling floors. But if that happens and you fall through a floor, try to pick yourself up. If you're able to, then you've done something right. If you're able to get up and not give up, or not cry after getting injured, or breaking a leg, because I've done enough, because I've had enough crying. I've had enough of crying. I've learned that crying doesn't get you anywhere. Happiness is what always brings happiness towards you. Think of yourself as a magnet. You pull in all that happiness and joy towards yourself. But make sure you share it with the others, with the ones you care about. Keep this in mind. Solid state mind. That's all I'm going to say. Solid state mind. And I've always learned, if you're playing in a role-play game and people are trying to say you're ERPing or whatever the heck they think you're playing, just tell them, I'm being the way my character is built to be. Except for the ERPing part. I don't know why that's even a thing. Just think of yourself as happiness, because your character is what you want him to be. He may be your alter ego or your alternate self. It doesn't matter. Nobody can tell you what you want to be. I've learned this from a lot of games. I've been disrespected for even dressing up as a Fallout character in After the Flash Wintertide. And here's a word I'm going to say to them. My character is built for this roleplay. It doesn't matter what you believe. It's not even, I don't even care if you say that it's a failed RP or failed roleplay. I don't even care. It's the way my character was built. And he is built for that world. And he should never be disrespected. Just think of him as your solid state mind. He's basic. His solid part is where you keep the act and you stay as that character and you don't change it due to some people's ideologies or if they believe that you failed the roleplay. It doesn't matter. And for those people who think just shooting you will get you to shooting you in a game to think that they're going to get you to change your character, don't do it. Don't let them. Don't let them get to you. That is one thing that I've learned. Don't let them get to you. Always be happy for what you believe in. Live a little. Build yourself the way you want to be. And be happy no matter whatever throws in your face. Because mankind cannot gain humankind cannot gain unless something of equal value must be lost. I have learned this from Full Metal Alchemist, and it's just like life. You cannot gain unless something of equal value must be lost. Say you're depressed all the time and you want to have a happy life. Then sacrifice your depression for happiness to gain happiness. Because that's an item that's equal value. Say you want to buy that very expensive car. Like that Lamborghini Aventador. you'll pay for a lot for it. But as the law of equivalent exchange, you cannot gain unless something of equal value must be lost. And for example, the money that you paid for that Lamborghini will be automatically that Lamborghini will be given to you. And you sacrificed your finances to buy it. And you may have to have to repair it every so often, switch things out and do oil changes. But if it leads to your happiness, then go for it. Happy Guest World Day, everybody. And I hope I see you all in the next video.